everyone, it's Frankie-Lou. I'm coming to you today from my fabulous workbench here that Angus built for me at the Grow To Gather Homestead. And I thought it was time to do this video because I know a lot of you are very eager to get your seedlings in the ground. I'm a little more cautious than some of you are. I wait, okay? I'm just outside of Calgary here, and honestly, I know I've still got some freezing nights coming probably for the next couple of weeks, so I've done my bed prep, but I'm just starting to open up my outer jugs now, okay? So I'm going to show you some of the stuff, some of the ways that I do this, and some of the ways that I treat them so that they will survive this period of transition. And then later on, I'm going to actually show you, I've got the greenhouse ready to go, and I've got some that I opened up over a week ago. I'm going to show you how to separate out some of those seedlings that are ready to go into the ground, because I know some of you aren't going to wait. So let's see here. I am going to open up my bee garden blend. Now, a lot of folks ask, when should I start opening them up? Well, when I start finding that they're getting, I don't want myself to get leggy, so I do want to start exposing it to sunshine when they do start coming on really strong. One thing I would suggest is keep a garbage bucket ready. I've got over 100 of these to open eventually, so I need somewhere to put my duct tape and not have it all over the place. So I like opening them when they're about this high, okay? Because then I know, and that it's not getting too cold at night, okay, and too cold during the day. So now, right, we're in mid-May here, and in southern Alberta, that's a good time that I believe to start. This is a nice bee garden flower blend that I've got. Everything's coming on nicely. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. I would never open one of these jugs and immediately plant it in the garden. If you think about it, you can see from the precipitation and all the humidity that's been captured on the inside of this jug here. These have been treated pretty well in terms of humidity. And here in southern Alberta, it's very dry. So these lovely plants, even though they're quite hardy and they're doing really well, are going to go through a tiny little bit of shell shock right now. So if I were to just throw these, put them through two shocks, both being opened up and having the humidity reduced, and then also throwing them into the garden, I'm likely going to damage them. So basically what I'm going to do with these ones is I'm going to start placing them where they're going to go in my garden, and I'm just going to start watering them as I normally would. That's another thing to keep in mind. Once you start opening these jugs up, you're going to need to be way more on top of the watering when it comes to taking care of your seedlings, because with this sealed up, honestly, I've probably had to water these a total of 3 times over the last few months. Now, these were planted on February 27th, probably been watered maybe 2 or 3 times. They're going to have to be watered way more frequently now that they've been opened. I'm expecting freezing temperatures tonight and tomorrow night. So I'm going to put these out in the garden. I'm going to do this tonight, okay? They'll probably be fine because this is a hardy blend, but just in case. Now, that is a little more work than just leaving them be, but honestly, in terms of the amount of work it takes that some people are doing right now with hardening off, bringing trays in and out every day, going like this, is a lot easier, right? So that's what I'm going to start doing with these. I'm going to put them out where they belong, and I'm going to start keeping in track of their watering. All right. Now, when you're opening jugs, you got to be careful, right? You can't just, you got to sort of treat it a little gently, because some of these plants have gotten, I actually keep a pair of scissors just in case, because like this one doesn't want to come out. So I'm going to keep some scissors here that I can do the first snip. And I'm going to be very careful about I don't want to juggle the jug around too much, because I could damage the plant if it's growing right up close there. Oh, look at that. I got a couple of nice radishes coming on in there. So those are going to go in as a companion plant for me. Now, another thing I want to warn you about, not to slag a product, but I made the mistake of thinking that I was going to be helping, because in the past I've sometimes used some tape that wasn't strong enough, and it was starting to come undone before I wanted it to. So this year I went and I spent a fortune on some really, really, really strong black tape for some of the stuff, and it's proving to be a problem because it actually doesn't want to come off, and some of the plants are getting damaged. So when it comes to using duct tape in the future, I'm going to avoid using this extra. I'm going to stick with my normal duct tape brand. I'm not going to get this brand with the black tape, because it's just, I've actually damaged a few plants opening. Look at that. Okay, so this is Phacelia. This is a lovely flowering plant that's going to be good for my bees. But you can see it's sort of, because this is a change. This is a bit of a shock. So I'm not going to plant these today. I'm going to put them out where they're going to go, and I'm going to keep an eye on them. I might not have to close this up tonight, but I am going to try maybe to protect them a little bit longer. Okay, and I'm going to plant these probably in about a week or two. All right, I usually want to give my plants a week to recover before I put them in the ground. All right, so I'm going to keep working away at this, and then I'm going to show you separating out some seedlings and putting them in the ground in the greenhouse. I'll be right back. All right, so as you can see here, I've opened up quite a few of my little milk jugs for planting and getting a little bit more of the sunlight and ability to grow a little taller. There's still lots left, okay, that need to be opened up, and I'm giving them a little more time before I do that. So I'm not in a big rush like some folks are, but I will show you, and I'm making sure I'm going to keep these really well watered, because this is the time when you have to keep up on that, okay? I'm going to take you now inside with this, because this was opened up a week ago, and I'm going to show you how to take this nice lettuce and break it up and put it into a bed in the greenhouse. Okay, so I'm back. I'm in the greenhouse here, where I've got a whole bunch of tomatoes that were opened up about a week ago. So I'm going to be they needed a little recovery time because they did go through a bit of a shock when the humidity was lowered, but they're going to be ready to go into the ground over the next couple of days. So I'm going to prepare this garden bed here with the companion plants that I like to plant with my tomatoes, and one of those is lettuce. So I'm just going to show you this. It's not hard, but I know few people are nervous, so I'm just going to show you how I like to divide up my lettuce and my other stuff that I take, the seedlings that I take out. So basically, very important, make sure you water this really well. Like, you want it to be very, very, very moist, because that's going to make it easier to separate the seedlings up. And then you're going to take your hand and you're going to very carefully try to, here we go, wiggle it out of there, okay? So that you can get your seed block. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to move it back up to the right side. So I have a nice block of well rooted up and nice lettuce that I'm going to divide up. So I basically start dividing this. I usually divide it in half, and I very carefully try to, I don't just rip it. I do rip it a little, but I want to try to make sure that those roots stay with the plants that they're with, rather than going off with different ones. And then from there, I could see there was a nice one that was individual. I could take that. Just gonna pop that in the ground. I'm making sure that the ground that it's going into is also well watered. And I start peeling away little individual ones where I can. Now sometimes, like this one here, I probably got 2 or 3 together, and that's okay, all right? Some of them are going to, one will probably end up being a little stronger than the other ones, and I'm fine with that. I do like to seed fairly densely, because I know that that's going to happen, and it's okay. And I'm going to keep working away at these, and then I'll show you where they are in the bed, and you can see. But I'm going to peel off there's another nice little section. 2 together. And I'm just going to put those in. All right. And these make really great companion plants for the tomatoes. And I'll show you how they look in the soil there. Alright, as you can see, I've got a few of my seedlings in. I'm going to put some radishes in here as well, some basil, some other nice little, some chervil, stuff that the tomatoes like. And as you can see, I do all of my tender veggies as well. But I do start those in the greenhouse where it's heated at night. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I wanted to show you another thing here. I've only used about half of that lettuce for that one bed. I'm going to use the other half for the squash bed that I'm going to plant in about a week's time. So I actually have just popped the second half of that seedling block back into this milk jug, and I'm going to keep it in there. It should be fine for another week. I've actually left sometimes these for 2 weeks because, you know, life gets away from me. You don't get to plant right away. But I find that as long as I keep it in that milk jug, sort of stacked up to one side and all together, that it's going to be okay for a little while if you can't get to planting all your seedlings at the same time. And I know that's reality for some folks. So I wanted to show you that as well. All right, so hope that was helpful. I hope that you guys all have lots of lovely seedlings to plant. And if you have any questions or other things you need me to clarify at this time of the year, I hope you're enjoying all that non-hardening off you're not having to do right now. And as always, I hope you take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.